Welcome to the Kindle Chronicles, the Friday podcast all about your Kindle. I'm Len Edgerly, and this is the show for August 25th, 2017. I am on a flight from Casper, Wyoming, back to Denver on early Tuesday morning. Of course, I was here to see the Eclipse yesterday, 2 minutes and 24 seconds of totality, and this show is going to be about my experience and also a lot of interviews with people afterward as to what they experienced during this incredibly powerful event. This is a full flight back from Casper to Denver, and from there I'll catch a connecting flight to Boston. And when I get there, I'll probably be putting the show together when we're back up in Maine, wondering if I dreamt this experience or more likely it's something I'll just never forget. I hope you'll enjoy the show. And I am back at Ocean Park, Maine at the cottage, looking out at the ocean on a gray day. It is Friday, August 25th, and I'm going to take you with me to Casper. I flew out there from Boston on Sunday, arrived Sunday afternoon, saw the eclipse on Monday, and flew back on Tuesday. It was a whirlwind tour. It does seem a bit like a dream now when I think back on it, but I hope you're going to enjoy the sounds of the trip and some thoughts that I had along the way as to what exactly the experience might have meant.
And welcome to Casper, where the local time is now 3:26. We'll be taxiing for the next few minutes, so please remain seated with those seatbelts fastened.
I didn't have to wait for a bag. I had a carry-on and headed straight for Enterprise rental. So how many cars are you renting today?
A lot.
Yeah, I bet.
A lot. 19. Okay, and I've got you down for an economy car.
Mm-hmm.
So, can we do upgrade into a Focus?
Focus would be great.
I can help you right here.
All right, I got my car. That was going to be the big question. Leaving Natrona County International Airport to get my Enterprise rent-a-car in space E23. I got upgraded to a Focus, which is what we drive at home. That's a good omen. There are clouds, but it's 3:45, and tomorrow morning I think the forecast is for no clouds. The skies are not cloudy all day in Casper, most of the time. And that's what makes it a great place to watch a total solar eclipse. I am leaving Natrona County International Airport, headed for Casper. The trees that line the road to the airport have all grown in the last 15 or 20 years. A lot taller than I remember. And so far there's no traffic jams due to the eclipse. Taking US 20 east into town, past the sign for Lou Taubert Ranch Outfitters, fabulous western store in downtown Denver, also in Billings. To my right is Casper Mountain, where Darlene and I used to live on top of the mountain when we first got married. And to the left is the prairie. Casper Mountain looks over a lot of prairie, and there's a lot of sky here. Good place to watch an eclipse. The airport was bustling, but not crazy. Enterprise was able to get everybody cars, it looked like. The representatives at the counter looked a little weary. Had an interesting conversation with a guy on the plane. I hope I was able to capture, despite the sound of the engines. He was from New York City, coming to see the eclipse with his grandson, who's 6, who he hopes will remember it. And he had kind of a space connection. He had worked on a project to test the idea that bringing art into space might help astronauts with long-term missions. This is back in the 80s. It was actually 1986, and it was a space shuttle mission, STS-61C. The fellow's name was Howard Wishnow, and having talked to Scott Parazynski about his space shuttle missions, it was interesting to hear this story about bringing art into space.
The idea was culture and humanity
As I did a final listen through to the show, I decided to cut that clip from Howard on the plane just because it's too scratchy to listen to. His point was that the experiment that he set up for the shuttle was to answer the question, what is humanity and what are the things that allow you to maintain your humanity when you're going to something like a year on Mars? And part of that was the role of art, and that's why they brought some artwork on that shuttle mission. Pretty interesting project. Passing the Horseshoe Bar and Grill. In fact, when I showed up here in 1981, it was I maintain I got here on the last day of the oil boom, and this road in from the airport was nothing but pipe and supply houses that were serving the boom in the oil field. Looks a little quieter now, with oil prices very low. My wife Darlene elected to stay in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where she was spending some time with my grandsons Jake and Ryan and Rue, my daughter. Once I got to Casper, I wanted to give her a ring just to let her know that I actually made it to Casper okay and was going to be able to, for sure, see the eclipse.
Hello, Grandpa.
Are you having supper?
I'm having supper. Where are you?
I'm in a Ford Focus looking at Casper Mountain driving in from the airport.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Oh, you did a Ford Focus.
Yeah, they upgraded me to a Focus. I said, that'll be just fine, thank you.
Oh, good.
On the way to my friend Jack's house, Jack's 91, he was my host for this stay, a longtime friend from Casper. I stopped by to see another friend, Neil, and he gave me a ring as I hit the downtown area. I thought it might just be totally chaos, but it turned out to be fairly calm. All right, so it's... Hey, Neil. Oh.
Park in the driveway.
Park in the driveway. Will do. Okay. So we've got people, it just looks like downtown Denver. There's hundreds of people walking down 2nd Street. There's booths, there's things to eat, and it looks like a festival. I don't think I've ever seen this many people in downtown Casper before. It's pretty cool. I hear music somewhere. Oh, there's my green light. It's going to be a short green light to get across the pedestrian mall. Both ways. Wow, this is exciting. My Casper has come to life with the impending eclipse. After visiting with my friend Neil and his wife Linda, I took a ride up Casper Mountain to where Darlene and I lived at the foot of the mountain. Beautiful place. I haven't wanted to see it until now, but there were some people out on the porch and they took me in, and the house looked great. And they loved it. So I was glad to see that the home that we created there is continuing to provide joy to another family. I settled in at Jack's house after that. He cooked a nice supper for me, macaroni and hamburger, a specialty that has been in his family for a long, long time. And then we got a good night's sleep, and we're ready the following day, August 21st, for the eclipse.
The spacecraft has a unique view of the mountains and valleys that form the moon's jagged horizon.
Let's learn more now about mapping today's eclipse using NASA's unique data sets.
They're an hour ahead of us.
The setup at Jack's house was we were in his kitchen where I set up my MacBook Pro tuned into the NASA feed, so we were seeing what was happening in a time zone 1 hour behind us in Salem, Oregon. The eclipse was, I think, maybe 20 minutes ahead in Oregon than it was in Wyoming. So we're getting a chance to see what was coming our way. We would watch on the TV for a while, then we'd slip out to the patio where Jack had 2 chairs set up, and we could watch the sun with our glasses. Stepping out onto the patio, I have my 10X solar eclipse glasses, binoculars. Bright sunny morning here in Casper. We've each got the eclipse glasses. And we carefully go. Oh yeah, I see a bite.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit of it's been nicked off.
Yeah, it's nipping off right at the top right corner.
Yep. We have an eclipse happening here in Casper, Wyoming. What is it, about 10:30 now?
right at 10:30.
When you're waiting for the totality on a solar eclipse, time moves very slowly. Here's 10 minutes that passed, and we are now at 10:40 a.m. With these binoculars, I've got sort of a shaky view, but it's a good view because it's 10 times the magnification. Jack is listening to the NASA feed inside in the kitchen, and I'm out here on the patio. It's still really warm here. If you weren't looking at the sun through these binoculars and seeing the moon covering it up, you'd never really know that anything was happening. So I'm going to be curious to see if that's the way it is right up to the totality. Boy, you can almost see it moving. You know, it's a slow-moving process because we've got about another hour before totality. I'm glad Jack has this comfortable Adirondack chair on his patio. I can lean my head back and look up at it. I feel really fortunate to have lived in Casper, so I've got a place to stay, and it's kind of covering from the top. It's not so much from the side.
Yeah, oh boy, you can tell it's coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just looks like an unnatural event, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like an animation from Hollywood. Wow, this is exciting. Right on your porch.
Why don't you tell me what you think we're going to see today and what we're going to learn today through this just incredible event?
So one of the most amazing parts of this is...
Are these guys in the space shuttle or something?
No, it's an aircraft.
Another 10 minutes goes by, and we are now at 10:50, 10 minutes to 11 Casper time. That is amazing.
Make sure you take your glasses, these back with you.
Okay.
So you can show it to Casper, Wyoming.
Oh, good. I didn't realize that they were marked. We have Casper, Wyoming sunglasses. Oh, that's cool. Casper has really geared up for this. How many people do they think are coming to see the eclipse here in Casper?
35,000.
35,000. Amazing.
It's nuts.
They're all downtown shopping and carrying open container alcohol down the streets. Half an hour to totality in Oregon.
The visible surface of the sun. But today,
they've got
we're going to get to see
almost half of it.
Yeah.
And the corona of the sun. And we don't usually get to see those because there's so much.
It's an interesting color. It's sort of orange.
It takes something special, like today's total solar eclipse, to be able to see them.
About 8 minutes later, we were just before 11 o'clock, about 40 minutes ahead of totality. I can feel the sun on my face. It's just a bright, sunny day here in Casper, about 80 degrees. And I'm looking at the sun kind of disappearing, even as I feel all of the energy and the heat that's arriving on my face and my body standing here. And so there's kind of a cognitive dissonance to know that the sun is going to be disappearing in about 40 minutes for 2 minutes. Then luckily it'll come back. Huh. Amazing.
Is the corona, that is the atmosphere around the sun. And she was telling me
keep
just
changing the
how
color of it.
excited she is, that she's going to be able to see that with her naked eye during the actual total.
Half an hour till it's total in
we can only see that
Oregon.
normally from space.
So we seem to be the only 15 minutes behind them. We now have about 20 minutes to go before the total eclipse. It's cooler out here than it was 15 or 20 minutes ago.
The antelope are kind of hurrying up.
Yeah, they must think it's getting to be dusk. There are antelope on the golf course out here next to Jack's house. They are about to be confused. Do you wish you were downtown?
Hell no.
They're having a big eclipse party in downtown Casper.
This is amazing.
Yeah. Wow. So the totality is over in Oregon now.
It really has cooled down.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the sun in the early morning or the late in the day. All right, I am going to set up the 360 camera here. My plan was to have no technological complications. I'm taking the Gear 360 camera on a monopod and setting it up on Jack's fence right here. Get a nice, I hope this is a strong enough clasp. Alright, that's on there. Here we are.
Are they even going to broadcast from Casper?
I don't think so. Now we are fewer than 5 minutes from totality. It's getting chilly.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't look like the moon. It just looks like a thumbnail of bright orange color. Pretty soon we'll be able to take off our glasses. Not yet, though. Now the line is diminishing from both ends. We are close. Good night, sun. Oh, I can feel the chill on my arms. Wow. I can hear wows from other backyards. Man. Wow. Lights out in Casper, Wyoming. Almost. Right. A few seconds. Wow. I have been tightening the audio because there are a lot of just silences we're watching. But for the next 2 minutes and 25 seconds, I'm going to let you listen to exactly what the recording shows happened once the eclipse became total. Man, look at that. There's a bright ring around the sun. That is amazing. What a sight. Look at that. I don't see any stars, though. Oh, yeah, there's a star up there.
Yeah, right.
You can hear people hollering in the neighborhood. Oh, fireworks. Ah. It looks like a hole in the sky. It's just like night. Well, the Eclipse sunglasses don't work because there's not enough light. That is eerie. Doesn't look like it's moving. Oh, I think it's starting to peek out the other side. Gotta put the glasses back on. I feel reluctant to put them back on. This is probably where people hurt their eyes.
Totally black up there.
Yeah.
Glasses on.
Uh-huh. Oh, you can't see anything with the glasses yet.
No.
Yep. That is beautiful. It's just perfection. It's just like this geometrical display. Okay, now it's coming out again. Oh, it's hard to put on the sunglasses again, but I'm pretty sure it's at the point where you could start getting hurt again. Oh, there it is. That's the ring. Oh yeah, now I see just a little speck in the Eclipse glasses.
Yeah.
That, I think, was the fastest 2.5 minutes that I have experienced so far in my life. You just wanted to stop time when you saw that the moon completely cover the sun. And you knew it was a fleeting experience. You knew, in my case, it's one I traveled 2,000 miles to see, and maybe a lifetime to get ready to see, because it just had, it had weight. It had substance. The seconds just ticked by way too fast. And now it's starting to get light again. The light comes up pretty quickly. That's amazing. Just a little bit of sunlight will warm you right up. Fireworks in the distance.
I don't know that I thought that was worth traveling from South Africa.
Well, it definitely was worth traveling from Boston, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Gosh. And here it comes. It's almost as interesting on the other way, because you can feel the warmth of the sun come back.
Yeah, right.
That sure would surprise you if you were a prehistoric human and you didn't know anything about it, and you looked up and there was a hole in the sky. Huh. I think it's amazing that they know enough about astronomy and everything that they can predict when this is going to happen down to the second.
Yeah.
And when it's going to happen, like in 2023 or whenever the next one's going to be, they know when that one's going to happen. I'll be there. I can see why some people, when they see one of these, they just chase them all over the world if they have the ability to do so. Getting warmer. It would be a shame not to have these glasses and to be able to watch it this carefully.
Yeah.
Through a stupid pinhole or something.
The town of Mills, there's a big sign out there, pay your water bill and you get a pair of Eclipse glasses.
You know, it didn't get as dark as I thought it was going to get. I thought the sky would be sort of full of stars like the middle of the night, but it really wasn't.
No, and you could always see the houses.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, where's the next one going to be?
Well, there's going to be one that'll cross Maine, I think, in about 7 years, so somewhere in the 2020s. I'll be in my 70s. I don't think you'll be 100 yet, so you could probably come out to Maine and see it.
I've seen one once.
That's it. After watching the eclipse with Jack in his patio, I headed downtown to see what was happening on the streets of Casper, knowing that they estimated 35,000 people were going to show up to watch it, and I think maybe somewhat fewer than that actually did show up from some of the reports I heard. But I did want to just get some impressions from other people. I have noticed myself thinking, oh, the eclipse, it was so amazing, and it was this and that, and I tend to think, oh, yeah, and there was a metaphor for this, or I realized this about my life and the meaning of the universe. In light of that, I think it would be good to have a little humor from Stephen Colbert before we finish up the second half of the show here. And this is a clip from his monologue before the eclipse.
In less apocalyptic news, the sun is going away. On Monday, a solar eclipse will cross the entire continental United States for the first time in nearly a century. I could not be more excited. I love science, I love astronomy, and I love to see barnyard animals thrown into a complete panic because it's 2 p.m. and night is falling. I'm going to go to the petting zoo. What's going on, goats? What's going on? Where'd the sun go? The chickens are freaking out. You know they know something's up. They always have the inside dope. Listen to the crickets. We're all going to die.
Later in his monologue, Colbert managed to take a shot at Amazon as well.
Keep in mind, viewing the eclipse can be very dangerous.
The primary risk is what ophthalmologists call eclipse blindness, or burns on your retinas caused by high-intensity visible light. The radiation literally cooks your eyes.
Literally cooks your eyes. You don't want that. So you got a few options. One, squirt sunscreen in your eyes and hope for the best. 2, give in, enhance the cooking with some olive oil, maybe some garlic salt. 3, get some of these.
These inexpensive cardboard sunglasses were designed specifically to allow you to look at the sun without harming your eyes.
Now, when your eyes are in danger of being literally cooked, nothing reassures like the words, inexpensive cardboard. All right, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, we have your pacemaker here. It's made with popsicle sticks. Just jam that in your chest. Now, it's important to make sure you get the ones that really work, because Amazon has recalled some potentially hazardous solar eclipse glasses. Now, to find out if the glasses you ordered are the good kind, put them on and look at the eclipse. Then, if you're blinded, send them back to Amazon for a full refund.
Okay, with that palate cleanser, let's head back to Casper just after the eclipse. I drove down from Jack's house to downtown Casper, where I knew there'd be some big crowds, and I was just trying to start processing what I had experienced. It's powerful to think of the millions of people that went somewhere to see this, and the anticipation of it, and really the power of it astrologically. And then how brief it was. It came, it happened. Those 2 minutes flew by, I'll tell you that. And then it was over. So to me, from a kind of a poetic point of view, it's a unique event because it combines such cosmic power and alignment of the planets, and such a sense of like a feather blowing by in the wind. It happened so quickly, and it was so quiet. It was just something that happened. There was the sun covered by the moon, looked like a hole in the sky to me, and you just sat there in it for a while, and then it was over. And now life is back to its normal rhythms. It'll take a while for places like Casper, Wyoming to clear out and have people return to their normal lives. But that process has already started, or will within the hour. So I like that. There's a nugget there of something that's so powerful and so evanescent. I was able to park the car just a few blocks from the downtown Casper area, which has been blocked off from vehicles. That's an advantage of this taking place in a smaller city. And I will be walking past the place that I worked for 11 years at the local gas company. That's 20 or 30 years ago, I guess. The office is now the local headquarters of the Salvation Army. I think I'm looking up at the window where I went to work in 1984. As I headed to downtown, I received a call from my nephew who drove from Bozeman, Montana to see the eclipse. So we had planned earlier that we were going to get together. Where were you when you saw it?
We were down in this park, Crossroads Park, right next to a baseball field here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we had plenty of people around us. There was just a bare width of clouds in the sky during the totality, but that really just added to it. It was absolutely amazing here. I'm so glad I made the trip.
There were some good vendors on 2nd Street in downtown Casper, so I had a pulled pork, very tasty, on a roll. And shortly afterward, I hooked up with my nephew, Jonathan, and I had a little interview on the sidewalk with him. There was starting to get a little wind sound that affects a lot of the audio that I recorded downtown. Unfortunately, I should have had a windsock, but in the move, I lost the windsock. In any event, I started by asking Jonathan when he had gotten to town in Casper.
Got here early this morning at about 5:30.
How long a drive is that from Bozeman?
It was about a 5.5-hour drive driving, but we took our time, took a couple of naps, ended up taking about 7 hours.
Why did you decide to put that much effort into seeing the eclipse?
You know, from everything that I've read, I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity unless I was going to take some extreme travel measures. I knew that it was within my range and easy to get to, and I knew that I had to take that opportunity while I had it.
You were able to get time off from work?
I was indeed. I planned on this back in April, so I've been planning this for quite some time, and they were more than happy to let me take the time off.
What was it like for the 2 minutes of totality for you?
Honestly, it was absolutely amazing. From the time the spark left and the eclipse glasses were no longer useful, you could hear cheering, you could hear moments of silence. It was a very life-changing experience. It is very difficult to put it into words, but I mean, my gosh, the temperature difference, the silence from the wind, there was just a whiff of cloud above us at the time, and that seemed to only add to the corona visible there. It was absolutely amazing. Something I would certainly not have missed, and I'm very glad that I had the opportunity to see.
Did it go fast for you, the 2 minutes?
Very, very much so. Very much so. The hour beforehand proceeding, while we looked and watched as the moon came across, it did seem to take a while, but that 2 minutes, it was nothing. It was, you know, a minute the sun went down, and then the next minute it's sparkling behind the moon for just a moment, like a single faraway star. It was absolutely amazing.
Perfect. Thank you.
Most definitely.
I enjoyed talking with people about the eclipse because it was such a personal experience to actually see it, and I had feelings and thoughts about it, and it was wow and awe. And to hear other people's impressions, how they differed, how they were the same, what was common, what was unique, it felt like a way to ground the experience in my shared humanity or whatever. So with that in mind, I'm going to just make a little collage here of other impressions.
My name is Dan Burkemper, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I didn't know what to expect, so I guess it was obviously amazing, but it was over too fast. It was over too quickly. So, but an amazing experience.
Liam Sage from San Diego.
And his wife.
Sterling. Oh, it was awe-inspiring. It was great. I'd do it again.
It was surreal. You know, watching the sun go totally dark and then this explosive ring around it. It was just like, I didn't know what to expect. I've never seen one before. But it was too short. It was so hard to process what was going on, and everything was coming in. Next thing you know, flash, and it's done.
And it was cool that you could take your glasses off and look at it. That was the best part.
I am Dylan Slusher, and I'm from Laramie, Wyoming. I really enjoyed it. It was the first time I've ever seen anything like it, and I just thought it was really special because there were so many people here in Casper. It was fun to experience it with everyone. Everyone was cheering. There's like news crews and stuff like that, so just being a part of this event was really special. And I thought it was so cool how just the entire sky was like a 360 kind of sunset, and everything just got a very unique kind of darkness to it. Yeah.
We were at the fairgrounds, so great crowd there, a lot of spirit, a lot of clapping and cheering, and it was amazing.
That's Rose, who is a 6th grade science teacher from Reading, Pennsylvania, who was traveling with her husband, John. I asked her what it was like to see the eclipse as a teacher.
Pretty phenomenal. You know, it's the textbook pages coming alive right in front of you in 3D reality. It was amazing. That there were some birds outside basking in the sun, and they were preparing. They kind of flew away and disappeared for a little while, just like the
trees. Yeah, and then when the sun came back out, they flew out again.
A few minutes later, they came back out, and okay, I'm supposed to be here. Yeah. But it was a great experience.
My name is Josh Smith, and I live in Grand Junction, Colorado. I've never seen totality, and I just really wanted to see this in my life. You know, I didn't expect anything, and it exceeded anything I could have expected. It was outrageous. It was night during the day. It was really neat. I was at the Tate Geological Museum. It was a decent crowd. It was spread out, but it was nice. Everybody was hooting and hollering. There were some kind of real serious amateurs who were giving kind of a play-by-play of what was happening, and it was fun and entertaining, and it felt pretty special.
As I was about to leave from speaking with Josh Smith, he pulled out a notebook and said that he had written some Eclipse haiku. Naturally, I asked him to read them.
Where did the sun go? I think it went over there. Wait, it's just right here. One sits, two orbit. Hydrogen to helium. Total rock shadow. Staring at the sun because I totally can. Interceding moon.
I'm Kyra Sanderlin from Billings, Montana. It was like a once-in-a-lifetime experience, like something that you got to, like, I don't really know. It's just something different, like you'll never get to like see it again usually. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It wouldn't be a podcast from Casper, Wyoming without some country music. This is coming from a store called Jade Elephant Beads on 2nd Street. It's a beautiful day in downtown Casper. Let's move on down Center Street, toward Center Street, along 2nd Street. I have to say this is so much more mellow than I expected. It's an easy crowd. They've all been through the same experience. They're all, I'd say, in a mild way, kind of stunned by it. Have some appreciation of what they've seen. And it's pretty common that you ask people what they think of it, they have a hard time putting it together into words. My nephew Jonathan, an exception, I thought he had a nice description of it from Bozeman. And the other thing is, it feels like it's receding quickly. It was so vivid for those 2 minutes. And the minute it started moving across the moon and revealing the sun again, it moved away fast. I'm doing a podcast about the eclipse. Can I talk to you for a couple of minutes?
Sure.
Tell me what you're offering for sale here.
We have these laser cut in wood Christmas ornaments, and they say Casper, Wyoming, Eclipse 2017.
Did you make them?
No, we had them just cut from a vendor that does laser cutting.
What do they cost?
They're $10.
$10. I'll buy one. I want one for my tree.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you. Tell what's your name and where are you from?
I'm local. I'm Clyde Edwards. I own the Cadillac Cowgirl right down the street, and we stocked up a few items for Eclipse Fest. And
of course, it was a good thing to do.
It was.
Did you? Let's see. There's a 20. Did you have time to watch the eclipse yourself?
We did. We went down. We shut the store down and went down to the David Street station, which is wonderful, and watched it from there.
What was your experience of it?
It was great. It was. I've never seen one before that I remember. Might have seen one as a kid, but it was wonderful to be right here in the center of it, and to see the total thing covered up. I've never seen that.
Were there a lot of people around you when you were watching it?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd guess there was 5,000 down here. I'm sure a lot of other people were out in the surrounding areas looking at it, but I heard the outer drive was just backed up with cars and such, but there was a lot of people watching down here.
What happened during the 2 minutes? What did the crowd do?
Well, when we got the total eclipse, they all cheered, and it was great, and it was just an awesome feeling to watch it go from light to gray and to see it come back again. I'd like to add a time-lapse film of that would actually capture what you were feeling, but I'm sure that you couldn't do it. But the feeling inside was great.
I'm Dorothy Adams, and I'm from Newport Beach, California.
And why are you offering psychic palm readings at an eclipse in Casper, Wyoming?
Well, because it's all relates to the same. It's all the same thing. I mean, it's all energy, And energy you get from the sun and the moon, you get from yourself, and it's spiritual and magical right now.
Now, there are a lot of places along the path of the eclipse you could have chosen. Why did you choose Casper?
Casper, I was in Douglas, and that was I stayed there for maybe 5-6 days. I had a booth there. I ran a psychic booth there at the Wyoming State Fair. And then I just wanted to come out here and see what it was about because I'm from California and I wanted to see all of Wyoming because it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Very different than California.
Oh, much different. But this is truly God's country. It really is. Really is.
Well, I would think that your experience during those 2 minutes might have had kind of a spiritual tinge to it. How would you describe what happened to you?
Magical, mystical. It makes you believe more and more in God. Gets you closer with God. I mean, everything He does is such a miracle. Everything He does. That was a miracle. It's something that I'll never probably see again. I'm not young.
Me neither. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I am interviewed out, and I am going to head over to our friends Tom and Tish's house. In fact, they have visitors from France, so that's probably where we'll do our final interviews here.
I'm Stéphane. I'm from Paris in France.
And did you come just for the eclipse?
No, I'm here on vacation, and I come from for Crow Fair. And we extend the vacation just for the eclipse.
Yeah. What did you think?
It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And,
what would be a good word in French to describe the experience of it?
Extraordinaire.
Or incroyable.
Oui.
Yeah. And so, has there been an eclipse in France in your lifetime?
I don't remember well, but I think there was. Maybe not a total eclipse,
right.
But I think there was.
Yeah.
And I was much younger at that time.
You will probably remember this the rest of your life.
Yeah, I will, definitely.
How did it make you feel?
It was going very fast, I feel. And, just something you won't see again.
Yeah, you have a sense of these moments are so important.
Yeah, it is.
Merci.
Thank you.
My name is Monique Robinson, and I live in Dayton, Wyoming. I was really glad to have a little bit of knowledge about eclipses from, the internet reading and things like that. And it was quite the science experiment. We had all kinds of things set up in the backyard, didn't know what was going to happen because we haven't been to one before and probably won't be to one again. But we all had fun and we just enjoyed the moment. And it was very good. We had wonderful company. Everyone was in, just a great mood, and it was totally awesome. Yeah. It was very unifying almost. And then, as Tom shared with us later, he said it was awesome to also hear the entire city and all the visitors come up with a roar as the eclipse finally made its way into totality. And so it was great to be unified with everybody that way too.
We'll close with my good Casper friend Tom Atkinson, who helped Ken Clark and me with the eBooks for Troops program a few years back. We sent 1,000 Kindles to U.S. service personnel in Afghanistan and Iraq.
I live here with my sweet wife, Tish, and the only thing I can say about it is that it was mind-blowing. It's an event I'll never forget as long as I live. It's the most awesome thing I have ever seen.
That's it for this special Eclipse edition of the Kindle Chronicles. Next week's guest is going to be Nancy Pearl, America's perhaps most well-known librarian. She is now a novelist. She has a debut novel which will be published on September 5th. What did the eclipse mean? I have just begun to try to figure that out. I've drafted a poem. I'm thinking of a song, and I've appreciated being able to think out loud about it on this show. You can find the 360 video that I filmed at Jack's at youtube.com/Len Edgerly. This is Len Edgerly for the Kindle Chronicles in Ocean Park, Maine. Thanks very much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye. Alexa, how many days until April 8th, 2024?
Monday, April 8th, 2024 is 2,418 days from today.